Before we begin, I know what you're thinking, Hannah, where can I get one of these amazing necklaces from? Well, I'm actually doing a little competition giveaway of these, so stay tuned to the end for info on that. Also, yeah, I chopped off all my hair. So March is Women's History Month, and if you didn't know, I studied history at university, so I really like this month. Throughout this month, you're likely to see lots of lists online of 10 badass women in history. If you don't see them creeping up on your timeline, then rethink who you're following and also go search them out. Although those lists are great and celebrating individual women's achievements in history is really important, this video is not going to be one of those lists. This video is going to be a history of women's history because I love me some historiography. Historiography is basically the history of history, the history of what we study, why we study, how we study, because history as a subject and as an academic field hasn't always been the same. The main thing you need to understand about the history of women is that it is not a linear narrative of progress. Women's power has ebbed and flowed. In certain places, at certain times, women have seized power, and in other times and places, that power has been taken away from them. Women's history is very closely connected with the feminist movement because feminists in the 19th and 20th centuries who were fighting for women's rights very much used women from the past as examples of great women. And looking back into the past was a way of understanding their oppression. But since it was first born, women's history has gone through many changes, and I have identified 4 stages to women's history. There may be more, there may be less, but these are the 4 that I have identified. Women's history, phase 1. People started to notice the absence of women in all history texts. This encouraged historians to figure out what had happened to all of those forgotten women, and for women to start writing their own stories, their own histories, or her stories. This is the phase of the remarkable woman. Historians noted women who played active roles in society, achieved incredible things, and were on par with men. You may have heard of some of these women: Boudica, Helen of Troy, Cleopatra, Queen Elizabeth I, Harriet Tubman, Mary Wollstonecraft. And so finally these women were getting the recognition in history that they deserved. And on to phase 2 of women's history. This came with the rise of social history, or history from below, which focused on less powerful groups. Even in traditional histories that mostly featured men, there was a focus on the elite. So politicians, royals, war generals, intellectuals. Social history challenged what should be seen as important in history and valued the lives of normal working people. The connection with women's history is that it showed the importance of studying family life and personal lives. Rather than placing extraordinary women into a narrative that we already know, it broadened the historical framework, opened up to new areas that were seen as valuable to study, and reimagined what history was entirely. It allowed people to explore the connections between public and private life. Women's involvement and experiences with trade, employment, political activities, family life, unionism, sexuality. Social history is about trying to understand social change, and traditionally it was seen very much through the eyes of a class struggle, but feminist and women's history also includes the power relationship between men and women. Social history is also very much concerned with material conditions, so things like wages, working hours, the size of families, and the age at which people get married. And this takes us to the next shift in phase 3. This was a shift towards cultural history, which is my personal favourite type of history. Cultural historian right here. Rather than being about material conditions, cultural history was about representation, symbolism, discourse, text, identity, and experience. And as there was a shift in history from social history to cultural history, there was a shift from women's history to gender history. A lot of people will put this down to Joan Scott's article in 1986 called Gender, a Useful Category for Historical Analysis. So it was no longer about what did women experience and what did women do, but more how does gender construct distinct masculine and feminine meanings and identities. And postmodernism was very influential here too, with its whole gender as a construct thing. So gender history looks at how did the past affect men and women differently, and looking at how ideas of femininity and masculinity have changed over time. For example, did women have a renaissance? How did Queen Elizabeth I use masculine symbolism in her portraits? What do the witch trials say about gender and femininity? Crime and gender, meanings of boyhood and masculinity. And phase 4. Intersectionality. You can't just have one historian studying gender, one studying race, one studying class and one studying LGBT histories. A working class black woman in 16th century England is going to have a very different experience to an upper class white gay woman in 16th century England. Just as we should all be intersectional in our feminism today, history should also be intersectional. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it gets you excited about women's history and Women's History Month. Competition giveaway time. So at the weekend, I was at Women of the World Festival at South Bank Centre, and it was absolutely incredible. If you get a chance to go next year, would recommend. It's just a whole festival of talks, workshops, performances, discussing loads of wicked stuff to do with women. This is their logo, wow, Women of the World, and I bought one of these necklaces because I just thought it was amazing. And I also got 3 more because I just thought that you guys would really enjoy this, and so I'm gonna give them away. I've got 3 to give away and I will ship it worldwide, so anyone can enter, any age, any country, any gender. The easiest way to run this competition and the easiest way for me to then get in touch with you is to do it on Twitter. So I'm very sorry if you don't have Twitter, but it's just the easiest way. So the way that you can enter is to tweet, and you need 3 things in your tweet. First, tell me about a woman from history who you really admire and why. Use the hashtag #WowHannah because that's how I'm going to find all of your tweets, and a link to this video. That's simple. Hopefully you have enough characters. I really hope you like this prize. I picked it out especially for you guys because I felt like lots of you would really love it, and we can have matching necklaces. Thank you guys for watching. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments your favourite women from history, or even your favourite female historians. That would be cool too. Don't forget to subscribe because I make new videos every week, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!